Hi there, welcome back to the new video, and in this video I will going to cover the HR Analytics department dashboard into the Qlik sense. So far for this particular dashboard I have covered it into the Tableau about how you can create it for the Tableau users, but if you are the one who uses Qlik sense, then we will going to cover the similar thing into the Qlik sense about how you can implement it in Qlik sense, and at the end I will give you some ideas about how you can take it to a next level. So this is the department dashboard for HR Analytics, and just to give you some background, let's say you are responsible for creating a dashboard for your senior management team. They are basically having the ownership of, let's say, sales department or the marketing or the operations, and they want to understand the human resources situation in their respective department and basically want to analyze the attrition reasons. So let's go ahead and first understand the data that we have. So the data that we have is over here, the age. So these are all the columns. So this is a CSV file, that's why it is not properly formatted. So we have columns like age, as you can see some numbers, attrition, yes or no, whether attrition happened or not, and then business travel. So business travel is rarely, frequently, and daily rate, department, distance from home, education field, so on and so forth. So there are like a lot of different columns, and this data set basically helps us identify based on the various factors like education or the daily rate and couple of more, like for example hourly rate, you have job involvement, job role and all, whether attrition happened or not. So it's basically a data science data set where a classification problem of whether attrition is happening or not based on the various factors is given. So you can even use it for if you are interested in doing a data science case study. All right. So what we'll do is let me go back to the HR Analytics department dashboard, and we will going to create some quick KPIs as well as charts for a beautiful looking dashboard that can serve our purpose. All right. So for that, let me go to the Qlik Cloud, and over here we have qlikcloud.com. So you can go in here and you don't have to install or anything. I can just click on the login, and based on the login credential that you may have, or if you don't have, you can register for it, and then we can simply go ahead and start using it. So this is my username and password. It's already saved, so it will give me the Qlik sense front end in just a couple of seconds. So it's based on your internet speed and all. Alright, so here I am, and I can go ahead and click on the new app and click on the create. So first of all, I need to give a title. So HR Analytics, and click on create app, and as you can see, it is creating in a new window. This window is left as it is, and now it is setting up, so it will take some time based on the backend processing and all the configuration that it needs to do, and it takes its own time, like you are seeing that number, the completion percentage that it is having. So once it will be all done, like it's done pretty much over here, we can simply go ahead and click on this add data from files and other sources. So once we click on that, it will give us a new screen where it will going to ask from where we will going to take the data. So it will be whether the QED file, the Excel file, CSV file, or any web file. So for now, I'll just click on here and come to my data sets, and the data set is basically HR Analytics, and over here we will see whether it has imported the data set correctly or not with all the columns. So yes, all the columns are coming as a header since embedded field name is already checked, and delimiter it has selected by default. So we can see that data is coming properly, so no issues. Otherwise, if there would be some, let's say, concatenation of column or something, we could have done some processing. But yeah, this is fine. But if you need to apply any filter or anything, you can click over here and apply the filter. For now, I will just keep it as it is. So, and another thing is, if you are a beginner, that if you don't want any particular column, you can uncheck from here, so that it will not be brought down to the Qlik Sense engine, and the less data that you have, the better will be the performance of your application. So it's a golden rule which every Qlik Sense developer follows, that only import the data which is relevant, because inside the Qlik Sense engine it creates associations which helps in generating the automatic queries based on the selection that you are doing. Alright, so what we'll do is click on add data or data, based on how you pronounce. There are many people who pronounce data as simple, data as the name implies, or sometimes data. I usually say data. So click close. It's done, and it is generating the inside the default. You can click over here and see the overview. So for example, if I just click it over here, you can see the default insight that Qlik Sense will be creating it for you. It may be useful, it may not be useful, so up to you whether you want to have this information or not. So for example, overview of average monthly rate by attrition and gender, comparison of average monthly income, average year at company, and total working year. So if you see that this is relevant to you, or any of this chart, you can keep it into the sheet. So you can come over here and either click on add to sheet or my new sheet. Alright, but for now I don't want this. So what I'll do is I come over here in selections, and in selections you can verify some of your data set from the data audit perspective. So for example, you can see yes and select it and see whether all the relevant information is coming fine or not. And once you are done with checking, you can just close this. Again, to audit it, you can audit by business travel, daily rate, department, so on and so forth. So you can even scroll towards the right and see the other columns. So this is helpful in doing the data audit. All right, and now if I go to the edit mode, here I am in the edit mode where I can work on my dashboard by creating, and as you can see, it's a simple drag and drop for charting and KPI. So those are present over here in the chart section. Here you have a couple of sections like fields, master items, charts, and custom objects. So we need to go into the chart, and within the chart you have like KPI object, line chart, map, pie, so on and so forth. So what we'll do is take the KPI, and because first we need to create some KPIs. I think this much should be fine, and KPI one more. I'll just make it same size. Not the map. No, I don't want that. I want a KPI, so that I am being consistent with what I have. And the last one, again, I will just take it here and just put it there. And what I'll do is I will just drag them a little bit so that I can make some space on the right side for my filters. So by default it is suggesting you, as you could see, some measurement criteria based on how it is dividing the sheet. Up to you whether you want to accept that or not. Right now, as you can see, I am doing what I want. Alright, so once I'm done with this, what do I need is the filter pane at the start, and within the filter pane I want to have a department because it's a department dashboard, right? So I can select my department from here, and all my measures and dimensions will be changed accordingly. Up to you again that you want filter over here. Most of the time we keep the filter down here in the left hand side, as you can see, but completely up to us how we want to create our dashboard. So department filter, maybe one more filter here, one more filter here, and you can then configure your dashboard accordingly, and that will have us one space again for your KPI. So for now, let me go to the over here and create average attrition count. So over here, so we have add measure right now, and if we click over here, and there is attrition, and we want count of attrition. So right now the count is 1.47. However, if in the data set you have attrition equals to yes, so if you go back to this, so age is 41, 49 and all, and attrition is yes, no, 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 and then yes, and then no, yes over here. So basically we need to customize this calculation. So how we can do that is by coming over here, go into the expression editor, and simply specifying the if condition, saying if and attrition equals to yes. And now we just need to make sure that it is as per the format like you have it in the Excel. So if attrition is yes, then comma, then expression is this, else this. So this is optional, so I will just keep it there and click apply, and it has not come. So let's see what's the issue over here. So if we just try and test it by giving the 0 and see how it is evaluating it. If I click apply, so 0 is what it is coming over here. So coming back to here, so it is evaluating it false. So what I'll do is I will just I can just turn around this equation, which I see is mainly because here we are using the detailed expression, and here we are using the aggregated expression. So probably that is creating an issue. So we can do a workaround if you are facing a similar issue, is that we can create a sort of flag. So if attrition equals to yes, then 1, 0, and simply do the sum. And now let's see this. So yeah, so now the attrition count is coming fine, and we can label this total, or simply say attrition count. Attrition count coming over here, attrition count. Okay, now going back to where we need is what we need is, so we can have an average also. I took the sum, but I think total makes more sense in that case. Average monthly income. Yeah, so since it is a simple straightforward monthly income, I just searched monthly and need to take average monthly income. And coming over here, what is my next one is the average age. So age is over here, and average age, you cannot take a sum of age. And then what you need is average working years. Average working years, so total working years, average of working years. So some of the high level information, let's say this is what you and your working team decided that this is what you want. Again, this is very simple and straightforward, as you can see, for beginner. But how it becomes complex is when you try to compare the monthly income, let's say, to some threshold, and then giving a color coding that whether this average monthly income is really the reason of the attrition. Similarly, the age, in similar case, the total working years. So based on the threshold, and that really depends on your subject matter expertise about how clearly you know the subject. So for example, you can see that if somebody is into the research and development and having the average monthly income of 6.5K is really low or below the standard, so probably you may want to have ranges like at least the salary should be, let's say, 7.5, and which is below 7.5 is red, and if it is between 7.5 to, let's say, 12.5 is yellow, and if it is above 12.5, then it is green. Again, you can find this information from the data by just looking at the distribution of the data and compare it with the attrition, and that will give you the answer. So how you would do that? Well, I will probably explain you, but I would really like you to try out your hands on that. So this is how you basically form the question and try to take an answer with the help of the data and the visualization skills. All right. So for now, what I'll do is quickly do the done. Looks pretty awesome, right? So you have attrition count, you have average monthly income, average age, average total working years. Now the title doesn't look good. So what you can do is, like I changed the attrition count, you can change the title over here. Now if I just go to human resources, you will see the value changes. The attrition count is 12, average monthly income is this, average age is this, and total working years is this. Similarly, if you want research and development and uncheck that, so you will see the attrition count is high, right? When you compare with the human resources, attrition count is just 12, but when I come over here in the research and development, it's pretty high, right? Let's see about sales. So in case of sales also, you have a middle range like 92. So definitely human resources have less attrition, followed by sales, and then followed by the research and development. So the very good initial understanding you can get to know about your organization, that hey, research and development, you really need to do something with your attrition. I mean, either it is related to monthly income or age or other factors which we will going to explain or explore. This will going to help us understand what is really going on with these two departments. So human resources something in a good shape. So coming back to the edit mode and going back to the sheet that we have. Oh, so we have one more, average years at company. All right, I did not know that I put it over there. So what I'll do is I'll take one more KPI, right? Average years in company. Years at company, I just searched for company and it has given me. That's how intuitive it is. So average years in company is 7.28, and yeah, we can live with that. Okay, so we have a good KPI. So good that I created the filter over here. So now what I can do is look at the questions. So attrition by job role. Interesting. So what can I take is a very straightforward bar chart, our favorite, right? And I can expand it little and maybe a little bit more. Add the dimension, attrition by role type. So job role, measure, attrition. So again for attrition, now a quick tip. Whenever you need to do the calculation like we have done it over here, you can create a master item. So for now, what I'll do is I will simply say over here in the measure, I can come over here. So dimension, measure, add, and go into the mode, and I will simply write some if, and then we can say ATT attrition equals to yes, then 1, otherwise 0. Close this, right? Attrition equals to yes. Alright, looks okay. And if I click apply, here is the role coming. So this is one of the way, and another way which I really like is from the appearance perspective is the horizontal. Somehow this looks, for me, this looks much better. So clearly indicating that in the sales department, sales executive is where you have the higher attrition. So if you go into the front end and see in human resources, you have two category, human resource and manager. And then if you go to research development of our study, clearly you have drilled down that research and development, within the research and development, laboratory technician and research scientists are having the highest attrition. So now from the department you have drilled down to a specific department where the issues are coming, and then you can take accordingly the action. All right, going back to the edit mode. So what do we have next is attrition with respect to years since last promotion and years in current role. So what I'll do is I will simply create one measure, and I'll just take the measure from here, because I will have to enter this expression again and again. So no point in doing that. I'm copying this, create new expression, and I'm saying attrition count, right? Label expression nothing, measure color is nothing, and attrition count, and I'll click create, because this way I don't have to create the same calculation and again. So if I just double click, no, I'm fine with that. So I'm just thinking why it has created 2, and over here tags attrition count, if I just delete 1, click OK. Yeah, I don't know, for some reason created. So this is the attrition count, and if I just check it by simply going into the edit mode, attrition count, yeah, looks good. Okay, so the question that we have is attrition with respect to years since last promotion and years in current role. Last promotion and current role. All right. So let's come to the charts section. Create a scatter chart. Can you tell me why I'm creating a scatter chart in this case? The answer is in front of you. Because we have 2 measures. We actually have 3 measures, but we will use 1 measure as a dimension. So what do we have is basically the last promotion, years since last promotion, and current years in current role. So years since last promotion, average, add measure, role, years in current role, average, and so I'll just click close. Just wanted to make sure, yeah. So promotion, average, and role, years in current role, average, dimension is attrition. So right now we see the problem with this chart is that you are getting just a yes and no, and that is mainly because attrition has only 2 values, yes and no. So to display the values that are present with respect to years since last promotion and years in current role with all the values that are over there, we need to tweak the formula. So the formula for this would be something like AGGR, the aggregate formula, and then we need to say attrition for every value that is part of the chart. So that will be something like, so we are creating basically an iteration by using the row number, which will virtually give a number to, that is attrition number 1, 2, 3, 4, so that we have all the display values on the chart, and then roll it by the attrition dimension, years in current role, and years in since last promotion. All right, let's click apply. I hope yeah, so all of these values are coming together. As you can see, the yes 3, yes 6, no 11, and so on and so forth is coming. You can just remove those labels if you want, but the main idea I wanted to give you in this dashboard is whenever you are stuck in such scenarios like this formula, the aggregate formula, can come as part of the solution. All right, so now we'll move ahead and we're going to create the next chart, which is attrition relation with years with the current manager. Okay, so attrition in terms of years with the current manager. So for that, what I can take is another chart to show it very effectively, which is a tree map chart. And I'll just create a tree map chart so that I'm able to use this space. And I will say years with the current manager. So this is more of a measure, and attrition is our dimension, or years with current manager is something we want as a dimension. Let me experiment with this, and attrition count. All right, yeah, so this makes sense. So we have issues where the person in the very first year, that means the 0, and that's where the attrition is high, followed by 2 and 7. So these are the three categories in which we see whenever the person has spent like 2 years, then the attrition is high, and when the person has spent 7 years, then the attrition is high. So you can clearly look into, first of all, this problem, what is going on with the beginners, that in the very first year, so as soon as they are associated, what is the issue which is going on, and that means 1 year has been passed, 2 year has been passed, 3 year has been passed, so on and so forth. So this clearly indicates some issues over here when it comes to the attrition. And this visualization you can more impactful by going into the appearance and color and legends. You can uncheck that, and it will show you can have the by dimension, by measure. So if we have by measure, let's say by attrition selected measure, then much more meaningful, again indicating the same thing, but you can remove this and take a different measure altogether, like average age, and then it will show you the different sort of scenario. In that case, again, it is up to your interpretation which column you are using. So in this case, it's definitely the higher the age, that's why you are getting higher over here, but the attrition count is low. So some interpretation can be made based on that. Alright, so coming back to attrition relation with number of companies, attrition relation with number of companies worked with job role. So number of companies worked with job role. So for that, what we can take is probably number of companies worked and the job role. So maybe I can simply take again one bar chart, or probably the combo chart is something which will make more sense. So replace with combo chart, and for that what we can take is dimension. So dimension we have is so if I just go back to the presentation, attrition relation with number of companies worked with job role. So number of companies worked, and measure is, let's say we take attrition over here. So we have attrition with respect to this, and we can add one more dimension, alternative dimension is job role, or this will not look very good, so I will just delete that. What I can do is go into the appearance, and within the colors I can, let me try to experiment with the dimension over here, and dimension can be the job role in that case, based on the job role that we have. So label is job role. So looks like the job role is not coming pretty nice. So what I can do is simply say, if I say count of job, click apply. Nope, nothing happens over here. which I was thinking, it should give me some sort of color coding over here. So what I can do is by expression, let me see if it gives something like this job role, apply. Nope, even in that case. So expression in a color code, nope, that's not what we want. So let me go by dimension and let me choose, try to see with the another dimension, let's say gender in that case. So yeah, not even gender, which is making a lot of sense. So what we can do as an alternative, let me just delete this and bring the pivot table over here. And in the add dimension, what we can add is if I go presentation, attrition is the number of companies worked with job role. So number of company worked, and attrition. Alright, so number of companies worked, attrition, clearly 58 is high. And now I can add the column based on the job role. Looks like this would do the trick. Yes. So here it clearly does the trick which I was thinking to get it from the visualization. We can be more creative. Probably I could have used the tree map, and on the color coding I could have used the job role. But I think even this metric does its job to clearly highlight some of the areas. So over here, based on the job roles that you have, clearly you have an issue with the laboratory technician over here. So once we click over here on the done, this is how our dashboard really looks like. And you have the good combination of visualization and with the filter. One thing what I can do is I can just make it little sync. Click on edit, and if I select that and make this also a bit more in terms of how other the charts over here on the dashboard. So this is something our finished product, at least from the learning perspective, looks like. I know you can do, and one can do by spending more and more time into it, but mainly I wanted to show you about how you can explore it in terms of what is going on, and then you can select the relevant value, like in human resources. Similar issues here, 02 is the issue, and over here it shows the two categories and the data points over here. Finally you have sales, and for sales also a lot of values are getting displayed, and clearly with the help of metric visualization and all, one can really see that it is helping them to produce come to a decision in terms of attrition. So that's what mainly I wanted to talk. You can add more dimensions, more filters to it, probably a better charts to it. I mean, this is just a straightforward configuration that we did, but one can be more creative by looking at the data set and try to see which makes more sense. And KPI, with the KPI also you can do a lot more things, like comparative analysis, or sort of a range if you want to display, or you can be creative with the color coding as well. So up to you how you want to do that. I have already published a lot of tutorials related to that, so check out those and figure out which one you really want to make it further enhanced. And yeah, if you want to show your work, show it in the comment section by showing your link of the visualization, and we'll be glad to look at your visualization. So that's pretty much it I wanted to show you in this video, and I will meet you in the new video with a new topic.